How you doing? Hope everybody's had a great week and a happy Friday. And I just want everybody to remember just to Hulk out, just because She-Hulk has She-Hulk has finally come out on Disney Plus. So I think again Marvel has another hit on their hands. This is going to be a spoiler review, guys. So we're gonna dig deep into a little bit for it, like at least our favorite aspects of it and some moments that caught us. So before we get started, if you guys can, please throw down a like. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications, and also just overall subscribe. Makes it easy for you to stay with us. Makes it easy for us to, keep the following going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like his Hulk would say, smash that like button and that subscribe button. Don't break your computer though, because you want to continue watching us and the stuff. But yes, smash it in a light smash way.
Unless you have money to just replace your stuff, no problem. Then yeah, do you, but I do not. But let's get started with the spoiler, shall we, Bird?
Yes.
Sweet. Overall, once we start getting into the details, what'd you think of this episode so far? Do you have good feelings about it? Are you a little hesitant about it? What you thinking?
I mean, I think this is a really, really solid start. And I think for the most part, a lot of the Marvel Disney Plus shows have gone to really strong starts. It's like towards the middle and the end where the ones that do peter off end up doing. But for the most part, they have really good starts. And I think this one's no different. I think this one was a really, really solid start. And for one I was a little nervous coming into it because, we really didn't know, well, at least I didn't really know how this was going to shape up. I mean, I was really interested in the casting when that was announced. Like, I knew Tatiana Maslany, who's playing Jennifer Walters here / She-Hulk. When she got casted, I was really excited for the show because, seeing her in Orphan Black, she was a really good pick for the role. So I was just hoping, okay, how are they going to do this character on a Disney Plus show, with a Disney Plus budget? And immediately from the first episode, I think my concerns are basically answered, for the most part, I think, in terms of the CG aspects and stuff and how they're going to portray the show and what sort of tone they're going to take. It seems like it's much more of a straight up comedic sitcom. Possibly a courtroom drama, not courtroom drama, but a courtroom procedural. That seems like they're going to play around with that sort of genre, and that sounds really fun and enticing. So yeah, everything I've seen here is I'm very interested in, and it is very funny so far.
Yeah, the first trailer I kind of was with everybody where I was a little worried about the CG because on the trailers it didn't look as good, but honestly watching the show it's that was put to rest. It looks so freaking clean, and it looks so goddamn real. It's holy shit, there's two Hulks on screen. You feel like that could be a very plausible thing on there, so I thought that was great. I don't know too much about She-Hulk besides the fact that she's just Bruce Banner's cousin, so I wasn't really sure how they were going to go about that. Let me see, what else was I kind of worried about? I'm just seeing some of the negative flack online, oh, this show is too woke, or, why you have to tear the Hulk down. It's I don't think there's any of that going on. Most of it is from people who complained about it before it even came out, so,
Yeah, the usual quarter of the internet that finds reasons to complain about things that haven't even released yet. It's okay, sure.
So, I mean, before we start kind of diving into stuff as well, I know I already said that 50 times, but for those of you who like Marvel stuff, definitely check this one out. I would say ignore the negative stuff. Just go into this show completely clean slate because I think it's solid. The cast is great so far. Mark Ruffalo returning as Hulk, Tatiana Maslany, like Byrne said, as Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk. And then Ginger Gonzaga, she's usually a character actor. The only things I can really remember her accurately are in Space Force, who's kind of like a character similar to AOC or Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and she was also in the first Ted. That's all I really remember. She was one of the Mila Kunis's coworkers, but I'm very excited to see where this goes. Every episode has a post-credit scene too, guys, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But But overall, this episode is pretty straightforward. You know, we see her as a lawyer. She's prepping for a case, and then she breaks the fourth wall. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, I thought Deadpool's the only one who does that. It's like, nope, not at all. There are plenty of Marvel characters that can do it. She's one of them. And again, it kind of works like Burns said, as like a lawyer comedy, you know, female-driven kind of show. So I thought it worked for me. I didn't have any issues with the fourth wall.
Yeah, and actually in the comics, She-Hulk has done it before Deadpool ever did it in terms of breaking the full fourth wall thing. So the fact that they brought that aspect of her character into this show, I think was really cool. And it's something we're seeing for the first time in the MCU where she is addressing the audience.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did not realize that, Bern. Thank you for that insight.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know until recently either, but once that was pointed out to me, I was like, oh, that's a really cool detail. I always thought it was just like, you know, Deadpool, because he's the one that's been known to do it more, and obviously, you know, he had the 2 movies, so in popular culture, I think people are more familiar with him. But yeah, and the whole comics thing, it's you know, she was the one to do it first, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this episode again was I didn't mind that it was basically all just like a giant flashback, just because it's just trying to throw us right into the middle of everything. Mm-hmm. So
the origin, basically.
Yeah, like as a lawyer, she Ginger Gonzaga's like character, I forgot her name, Nikki, I think, but she's like a paralegal. Nikki. She's trying to be a lawyer, but she's saying, "Oh yeah, if you don't win your case, you could always Hulk out, right?" And she was like, "Yeah, let's talk about that." And you know, I didn't know what road trip they were doing. I thought it looked cool though, just them talking. You know,
I think it was probably going to be like a family trip, because there's a line that she says later, "I'll see you at the next, you know, family gathering or whatever." That, like, I was in my mind, I think that's probably where they were headed to, you know, together. But it could have been anything really. I don't think they really like dived too much into it.
No, we just know they're 2 cousins just driving along the road, and I thought the casting was really great from the very beginning. I thought it was great just because her and Mark Ruffalo next to each other, you could definitely get the idea they could be family, like look alike, same features, and they're what's the word I'm looking for?
Chemistry.
Yeah,
like they bounced off each other really, really well.
Yeah, they were almost like they're like those cousins that are like super close, like brother and sister. That's how my buddy's wife is like with her cousin. They're like sisters. So I thought that was like, okay, I get it. I think even that scene alone really kind of showed who they were. Like her, the chopsticks with the Cheetos, like, oh yeah, so you don't get cheese fingers and stuff. And we see his little monitor thing on his arm, so he can kind of stay in control, but he still has his arm brace, which we saw in Shang-Chi. And so that kind of answered those questions too, which I was like, okay, this is starting to make a little more sense. And all of a sudden, you know, we see this, which I thought was funny, how she's obsessed with Cap, like Captain America and like all that stuff. She has a fat crush on him. I mean, what woman in the MCU
Oh, for
wouldn't?
sure.
But
I mean, it's America's ass, you know, like it belongs to all of us.
Right. That's America right there. And then we see a ship exactly like the Grandmasters from Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok, just right in front of the highway. And then again, it was pretty straightforward. They get in an accident. You know, he's telling her, "Hey, be careful of like my blood. Don't touch me," kind of thing. But it gets into her wound, and immediately her body reacts to it, which I was like, "Oh, that was fast." But
it happened super quick.
But at the same time, the way I was looking at it is that because Hulk has evolved into that hybrid where he's like Smart Hulk from Avengers Endgame, it's like his blood's probably so refined. It's like, dude, that's perfectly pure gamma right there.
And because of like DNA reasons, it seems like, you know, her body was able to because they share the, you know, the family genes. It's like that she took to it really quickly, basically.
Yeah, and you think it's gonna kind of be very similar, where it's gonna take her a while to feel like Hulk and stuff, because, you know, she changes, kind of blacks out, and, you know, it's kind of funny. I was kind of watching this episode having in mind like the negative reviews, and I'm like, I could see people getting triggered by this show, not for like, you know, offensive reasons, but it's offensive to them. Like when she's at that bar and these guys are trying to talk to her, they're not really being super aggressive, but it's like, dude, she wants to be left alone, leave her alone. And they're like, come on, you don't want to talk to us? I'm like, man, even that kind of, I was like, I could see from a girl's point of view how annoying that would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in like in conversations that I've had, and I'm probably sure like you had, with either like friends or family members or like coworkers or anything, basically like women in our lives, they can attest to like these sort of situations, like wanting to be left alone and not, and then sort of like to add on to that, the what she says later on in the episode about like her experiences, as a woman and how that's like affected her on the day to day. It's like it's bringing up like real stuff. Like this isn't like made up things. These are things that happen and things are women that experience. So it's like one of those things. It's like you can't really like wave it off as like being any sort of like agenda or anything like that. It's like no, this is like people's lived experiences. Like this happens. It's like if that bothers you, then maybe there should be some introspection there.
Yeah, like if you feel like, well, if I was there, I would have done the same thing. It's like, why? If a girl wants, if she says leave it alone, leave it alone. Why would you bother her? But
Mm-hmm.
anyways,
And yeah, and just like last thing, it's like it's not an attack on all men. It's just an attack on assholes. That's all it is. It's like just don't be a dick. Like just don't do it. Be a good person.
yeah, just be a sensible, polite person. That's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought like, I really like that she wakes up and we find out they're in Mexico, and that's where Hulk became Smart Hulk because Tony helped him build this little compound slash like getaway, so he can learn to control it and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Now we find out where he was, how he became Smart Hulk from, whatchamacallit, from Infinity War to Endgame. So I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And again, their bounce back and forth is great. How she's like, it's kind of smug. You're like smug Hulk. He's like smart. And she's like, no, that's self endorsement. It's like, okay, way to be a lawyer about it. And then the again, I just loved everything about it. The whole testing her strength and stuff like that in that like chainsaw room. She's like, what is the point of this? Why do you even do this? And
Yeah, like her like sort of normal person reactions to these crazy things, like that crazy torture chamber thing. Like, what do you do with this on a regular day, you psycho?
but it was actually not super surprising, but I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense that she's immediately normal. Like she controls the Hulk. She is Hulk. He was geeking out like, wait a minute, you don't have another person on the wheel? Like you're the only one in your head right now? And she's like, yeah. Like why? And he just, again, it's one of those things like I could definitely feel his jealousy a little bit throughout this episode. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, my little cousin's getting this so much easier than I did. It's like, true. And for those who want to make that argument, why does she do it? Not just because of whatever stupid political reason you think of. Let's break it down. She's a lawyer. She's had a better upbringing than he did. If you guys ever know too much about Bruce Banner, or maybe even seen the other movies, you come to find out he had a very messed up childhood. He did not
Mm-hmm.
come from the best family. Like his dad, at least I remember in the Eric Bana movie, his dad killed his mom and sent away to prison and stuff, and he kind of grew up like stressed and like had PTSD from it essentially. So he's never truly you know been like the most stable human being. So there's that like you and I were talking about the whole like dual personality where Hulk is one creature, he's the other, and that's
Mm-hmm.
why Ragnarok he was so freaked out. It's like, wait a minute, like I haven't been around for 2 years. It's like, yeah, the Hulk was in control because you suppressed him and made him this thing. But
Yeah.
and I know people want to shit on Smart Hulk, but I'm like, you realize that's a crazy evolution though, right? Given he's not as massive as he is before, like from the original Avengers. That's what I've been seeing a lot. People are saying, why did the Marvel nerf Hulk so much? I'm like, he's still Hulk. He's just smart now, and it does happen. Even in the comics, it's another iteration of him too. So that was just my take on that, Burn.
Yeah, I mean, no, like you and I were talking about earlier that, yeah, a lot of people tend to forget that, Bruce Banner and the Hulk are two different personalities, and just like they haven't really gone out right and said it and like diagnosed him in the way that they just did recently with Moon Knight, with the Mark personality and the Steven personality. But they've the way that they've talked about it and the way that Bruce has talked about it within the movies of the MCU, it's easy to sort of deduce that the case. Has this undiagnosed DID, and the fact that he was exposed to this gamma radiation that sort of gave the other personality, a physical form, in this case, the Savage Hulk that we've come to know and that a lot of fans really like. So that that's why it was such a big deal in Endgame when he was able to merge the two personalities and sort of like coexist in like a more amicable way than we've seen in the past. So this whole time he's been struggling between the two personalities, control, whether like Hulk doesn't like Banner or Banner doesn't like Hulk, so he hasn't been, I guess, emotionally stable for the most part. So it stands to reason why he wouldn't be able to control his powers like quickly. Now that we've seen since Endgame with him as Smart Hulk, he's able to do all these things, and that's kind of where Jen comes in. She comes in having her faculties about herself, so she is able to pick up all these things very quickly because she isn't, like he says, wrestling with another guy like in her brain. It's like she's able to just do it as herself. So that was sort of like the reason that I think is the case here. Like you said, not for any, she's just better than him just because. Just no, like she doesn't have to deal with a lot of the baggage that he had to deal with for all those years where he was bouncing in between the two.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty straightforward. He's just trying to show her the ropes of being Hulk. I love their yoga scene where she's just doing so much more than he is, and he's like, it's not like, again, his jealousy is just hilarious because it's like, dude, I was just looking for both their points of view. I'm like, dude, I get it. Just relax. That's sometimes the younger kids are gonna be better than us, the older guys. So
yeah, that's what it seemed like. Either the older sibling or like the older person in the group, and the young one does it better than you, and you're just like, I hate you. I hate you, you little tiny thing. Why are you better than me at this?
I thought it was interesting too that instead of her getting super muscled out, I like that they went with a more like Olympian, like leaner look for her. Also, her hair growing out, that was kind of like, I thought that was an interesting aspect to it, and it's because her hair is like naturally short, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I forgot where I heard it, but it seemed like it was said that when she turns into like her own idealized version of herself. So that's why her hair is like really nice, like it's like blown out, like it's very like done up. And her proportions and her features are a little bit more accentuated and stuff in the way that she would like to view herself, her being this very petite person. It's like she's this like bigger, more, for lack of a better term, bodacious, to shout out her own thing. But yeah, like I said, like you mentioned, I do like how she is different than the way Banner turns into, the whole, he's a little bit more, gorilla like, and she has more human characteristics, I think.
Yeah, either way, I was just like, you know what, keep changing. She could throw me across the beach. I don't care how many times. I'll do it. I'll be that rock. And again, I like I said, I could see from both sides of the point, like both of their sides, where he's just trying to show his cousin, this is what I dealt with. I don't want you to go through the same worries as I did. But at the same time, I think that line really hit home where she's like, well, how do you think I deal with catcalling on the streets? Or I work with incompetent men who try and explain to me my job when they don't know how to do it, right? And I forgot what else, and it's like she's deemed as either like difficult, emotional, or she'll just get straight up murdered by some psycho. And I was like, holy shit, that's what I feel like a lot of women feel like. Again, like you said, conversations with people is like, it's a fair point because I'm glad that movies are kind of pointing that out, because yeah, if you dealt with like if a woman got mad versus a dude got mad, the dudes would be like, nah, it's not a big deal, he's fine. A girl got mad, it's like, holy shit, what did we do wrong, kind of thing. Like, dude, it's the same thing, just let it go. So, and then their fight scene, I feel like, kind of hinted at potential World War Hulk kind of thing, where they're just kind of going at it, letting their Hulks out. Like, I like their roars together.
Yeah. And the thunderclap trades, though, that was really funny.
She literally clapped back at him.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And then them building the bar after the fight together was like, yeah, you're fixing this. It's like, okay, fine, I get that.
I like how there are small moments where it seems like the old Hulk kind of like rears its head, like in that moment there when they crush the bar, and he like kind of throws a little like child tantrum, like you're fixing it. Like, just those little things that he does is like, it's really funny to me. Like, there's still a bit of that like child Hulk that we kind of saw in Ragnarok there.
Just baby. Let me see. Again, I thought the flashback scene really worked out because we got to see the pros and cons of being Hulk. Like, she needs stretchy clothes, she's got to control her moments when she turns, but she controlled that pretty easy. And then they find out, oh yeah, when you can drink as much as you want, but the next day she's like, oh, you didn't tell me there's gonna be a Hulk-sized hangover. Just, oh yeah, I'll put that in the binder. Almost like he like, yeah, I
He did on purpose.
Yeah, he did on purpose just to fuck with her. Again, I love their dynamic. I really hope we see more Mark Ruffalo because as a mentor and just as a sibling character, it'd be great. And then the ending ended on literally a bang where Jamila Jamil's character, I forgot her...
Titania. I believe her name
is Titania? For sure. She busts in the courtroom after she's delivering her speech. And I like Ginger coming over, like Nikki's character coming over and saying, okay, do it. Hulk out. This is the time. She's like, what do I have to? It's like civic duty. You just said it. Get to it. And she's like, oh, I love this outfit. Which I'm like, yeah, that sucks. But I thought it was smart. She's like, hey, shoes. Oh, yeah, good idea. And then it's like, okay, that was actually really smart. She ain't going to ruin her shoes for that. And again, it just got me more excited. The ending got me more excited. And the post-credit scene was just... It was just hilarious. Just
one of the best, I think.
Yeah, that was one of the best pieces of dialogue like in any of the MCU. She's like, that ass didn't deserve to die a virgin, just America's ass. And he's like, he didn't die a virgin. He lost his virgin on the USO tour. And she's like, I knew it. Like her face is just so like snarky and hilarious. And she's like, wait, you're not drunk? Almost like you're supposed to keep that a secret. And just Captain America. Fox.
There are two things that I like most in comedies: a really good ragdoll and a really good cut f-bomb. And this was one of those cut f-bombs that was really good. Her over excitement of the idea that Captain America had sex is just hilarious to me.
Yeah, I mean, he got around a little bit. Come on, it's Cap. You know, he was going through it a little bit, but...
You don't say no to Lady Marjorie when she tells you, like, she wants you.
No, Natalie Dormer, that was... I don't think they hooked up, though. I think he hooked up with, like, probably other people. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, someone eventually.
He got with the queen of the MCU, Haley Atwell. She's still on my top 5 dream queens. Anyways, I'm really excited for the rest of this show. I think Tatiana Maslany... Is it Maslany or Maslany? Am I saying it?
Maslany.
Maslany, I think she's a great addition along with Kamala Khan's Iman Vellani.
Tatiana Maslany. It's very similar sounding names.
Tatiana. Yeah, Iman
Vellani.
Iman Vellani.
Say that 10 times fast.
I'm not going to say this anymore. We're confusing ourselves. Overall, like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. Guys, Daredevil is going to be in the show. He's not just a glorified cameo, which is what they said. So I'm hoping he'll have more screen time than Yelena did in Hawkeye. And again, we're going to see a bunch more. They've hinted that this show's going to be one of the more like star-studded shows of the MCU. So I can't wait, amigo. Anything else that caught your eye this episode?
I really did like the little nuggets that he put in there of like Bruce's and Tony's relationship. Like, you know, they were what we've dubbed in the fandom as science bros, you know, like ever since the first Avengers movie. They really had a connection, and just like him mentioning that they built that bar together, that Tony left him that island as a place to kind of like get away from everything. And I think the fact that she had that Led Zeppelin shirt, I think that was possibly Tony's shirt that Bruce, lent to her and stuff. So just those like little mentions of him, it sounds like he really misses his friend and sort of like drives that knife in further of just the fact that he's gone, so it's like, I like that they're referring to him and that relationship that they had, and that, they were really close, it's just one of those things that you like to hear in like an extended universe of like past relationships and how they're affecting the characters now and stuff. I thought that was really cool. And just the fact that that everything on that island was like sized up to him, so she looked even like she's already a small person, and she looked even tinier like around everything. Like the tables were like up to her head and stuff. So just a little bit of visual comedy there. I thought that was really good. Everything on that island and well, I guess it was it an island? I know it was somewhere in Mexico, but wherever they were, I thought all that stuff really worked for me.
I think they were just on a beach, but yeah, either way.
Yeah, like
no,
a beach in Mexico.
I forgot about that. Even he said, "Don't get an apartment smaller than 10 feet." Trust me.
You're gonna need to reinforce your furniture.
Yeah, where he got her with the blowhorn. I was like, "You dick." Before we finish off, yeah, I think this show, Falcon vs. Soldier and WandaVision, had the heaviest ones with losses, and then Loki right behind it, where they really like core Avengers, how they felt that sadness from it. This one definitely is translating that with Bruce and Tony. You know, it was oh my God, Sam and Steve. You know, Wanda and Vision, and then Loki and his brother Thor. You know, they're all were dealing with the core team. So. Either way, I'm excited for the rest of it. Guys, let us know what you thought in the comments. You know, spread the word around. We really appreciate all the views and stuff, especially for Prey. Because, guys, thank you so much for that. We're getting better. We're trying to for you guys, too. So,
yeah, definitely.
Until next time, guys, just, keep on staying bodacious and keep on ranting for the both of us.
Absolutely, everybody. We're going to be, doing all the episodes of this show. House of the Dragon is coming out in a few days, so that's going to be one to look forward to. So, yeah, the content just keeps coming, and we hope you guys join us for those, too. So, I guess until those, we'll catch y'all on the next one.